yeah, Hellraiser and a lot of different points. And even with a movie like Hellraiser 1, I didn't respond to it immediately. But as time went on, there was something so tangible about and so incredibly visceral about the way the costume design is done in that movie and everything else. So we had about 100 conversations about the demon. It's an interesting thing to touch on. But yeah, anytime we got into differences of opinion, I think we almost always found a middle ground. And a lot of the horror elements, I trusted Adam on extensively, more than maybe I would even trust somebody who I wasn't friends with. I think I just said, you know what, I think he's right. I'm going to see where this rides to. And there was a lot of times where he was way ahead of me on stuff. And I think he trusted me with my dramatic sensibilities, like, with the actors and having, a couple different things that were in there just to sort of, I guess build character, which is something that we also both wanted. So yeah, I think we both trusted each other and sort of figured out how to make something that was sort of hardcore, more hardcore for horror fans, but also had a dramatic element.
Yeah.
Scenes to watch. I won't get into any of the details, but like I was like, it's like cringeworthy because these actors are in pain and they play their parts so well. And I do want to get into the actors. I'm glad you brought that up. Jamie Mallory Betchel's character, I've really enjoyed watching her. I thought she kind of just outshone everybody. She did really well. Amy Carlson too. I think she's a big name there. In her in a few movies, but I really thought that the cast was great. I thought you guys did a really good job with that, and they did their parts well. Charlie's character, the character Charlie, he was kind of seemed like he had a lot of demons himself, that he was trying to get over and whatnot. And then we get Nancy in there. But how did you guys select the cast? I mean, was it easy to cast, especially the Jamie's character? I mean, she takes on like this unsuspecting main role when you're not suspecting it.
Yeah. No, well, we used Judy Henderson, a casting director who did a great job. She's done so much work
with Emmy Award winner.
Emmy Award winning.
She does a lot of Showtime shows now, but she's been around forever. We worked with her before.
Yeah, but she gave us David, Mia, Mallory, Amy, and they were all, and Jack. They were all great. Actually, Jack, we worked on a short film way back when he was a little kid, and we kind of were just going through the submissions, and finally we said, let's hit up Jack, and Jack came in and did it. Mallory, that was Judy. Judy just did a phenomenal job, and she was actually very set on having Amy. She was very excited about Amy, and I'm not familiar with Blue Bloods or really her work, but what Amy did was outstanding, and Judy's choices were spot on. So we used Judy Henderson, and
we just worked with them. We worked with them, and they all came in, and actually we were very fortunate that these actors actually came in and read for us. People who make films, or I guess now we're getting into name actors and things like that, but these guys do not read for you. It's a hire only. You're hiring this person, and they've been around for 30 plus years, so you're lucky to get them type of vibe. It's usually like that. Amy actually came in and did the scene for us, which to me, and I think to both of us, was sort of a signal that she was like a team player, that she wanted to do the role. She was very interested in it. And she gave us like the most phenomenal piece that you've ever seen in an audition. And it was like, this woman is way beyond what we imagined. Like, she has class to her, sort of like in the same way that Vera Farmiga does in the Conjuring films. So you sit there and say, you know what? This is going to elevate our script. Let's get her, and we'll just we'll work out the rest or figure it out. But she was, all things considered, she was one of the most easygoing and wonderful people we've ever worked with. No joke, and I'm not just saying that. She was great to work with.
One more thing I want to get into before I pass to Muse. Adam, I understand that you took on you wore a lot of hats in the making of this movie, and composer was one of them, because I thought, like, obviously there's an element where sound comes into play, and that that back, and it was terrifying because I always watch the movies with my hand, so I always recommend people watch movies with their headphones on, because you hear all these different elements and noises and stuff. So I got to talk. How did you get into the sound and get those scary sounds, right? Because it was terrible.
Oh, thank you. I think really what it was listening. Well, as Jameson said and I said, I'm a big fan of Carpenter. Um, I like some metal, some metal bands, and they always use sounds, frequencies, whatnot, distortion, all that stuff. So I was just always experimenting with, just my little programs and just figuring it out. But also, I think Lovecraft actually played a big part. Where he describes the old ones of they're unbearable. You can't really see them in their true form or hear them because you'll just go mad. So I just kind of played with something that would be, kind of, distorted in the same sense. You don't really get a clarity of the music. It doesn't sound melodic at all, but it does have a sense of environment, and it's had some like Middle Eastern themes to it that I think that I try to put in there, to make it sound ancient and whatnot. But really it was just staying up all night and just fiddling around until something really stuck. And
Yeah, I like to talk to this too as the very very pleased director that he is a person that's part of the team. More than that, is a producer and a writer, but is also a phenomenal composer. And trust me, it's not the kind of thing where you're like, oh, we got to use this guy's music. No. In 100,000 different ways, he's usually way ahead of me on the score. And what he brings to the table enhances my directing. And so those things really go hand in hand. And any director would tell you that the music really makes or breaks it. So he even was involved in the elements of the sound design for a lot of the things that Charlie was doing. I'm sitting there editing whatever it was, and we early on talked about how we had to insert the sound of the demon, and he played me something that was phenomenal that he had created in his system and his very advanced stuff that I have no concept of. I'm not musically, gifted at all. So he really brought that to the table, and it was phenomenal stuff, and it was scary in a way that we kind of hadn't seen before. Certainly in the things that he showed me. So he lent that to, all the demon stuff is really his noise. And then his music complements that sound. And, what I think Adam's also very good at, and I think naturally extremely gifted with, is knowing when to not score something as well, which I think is just as important.
Well, I think a lot of the new movies that are coming out, they should take pride in the score and the sound and the effects of what's going on in the movie, especially when you have something when you're dealing with demons in a sense, or something that you don't see, that the characters aren't seeing, because sound plays a lot into that. So I thought you guys nailed that. Listen, thank you so much for taking my questions. I'm going to pass you on over to Muse, and let's see what she has for you.
Hey guys, a pleasure to meet you guys and chat with you guys for a little bit about the film. This was a really interesting film, and Ken kind of touched on some of the stuff I was going to ask. We're usually using the same brain, and that is no different tonight. But I want to ask you guys, what were the biggest difficulties you faced while filming No Fear?
Oh, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, you want to start?
I think Adam and I could both name 100 different things, and they might actually all be different. My 100 be different than his, but I think if we always have sort of talked about this one, but I think, besides financing a film, which is very difficult, this one had a little bit of luck on that, but it was a whole lot of hard work as well. And it didn't seem like it was going to happen 100 times. But I think one of the hardest things was definitely shooting at night. I don't think we considered this as an issue at first, but there was quite a bit of a difference in the communication between us and then also the cast, and the fact that we were really going to shoot it at night. I think they thought we were going to do like a day for night type deal, and we knew early on that we had to light it that way. And if we were going to achieve things that looked like Evil Dead lighting or looked like Halloween Carpenter lighting, that we had to actually shoot at night, even if we were in a house. So that led to a lot of different problems, even though we were game for it, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff you could say.
Yeah, no, I think it's really just the whole project was challenging. I mean, there was really no aspect that I think we were not like, trying to get something done. But in a sense, that's good because it keeps us moving, keeps us on our toes. And no, yeah, scheduling I think was a big thing. And because we were also doing it in SAG, so you have to meet the requirements. And luckily, it was before COVID. Otherwise, it would have probably been a whole different story.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. So just abiding by the SAG regulations.
Yeah.
8 hours, lunchtime.
That's hugely challenging too.
Yeah,
because it's really 8 hours on an 18-day shoot, really 16, 15. I mean, you can't sit there for 12 hours like a lot of horror movies do.
No, yeah. I mean, pre-production wasn't too bad. I mean, it was all coordinated. Post is good, but when you're in the moment of it, it gets crazy. It really does get crazy. But yeah, no, I mean, but it was worth it. So yeah, there was a lot of challenging things. But yeah, no, nothing that we couldn't handle, I think.
Well, I'll tell you what, I always love that kind of question because I don't think we, as horror fans and stuff, if we're not involved in filmmaking, really realize all of the challenges that can be presented and all of the hard work that goes into a lot of these great horror movies that we have the privilege to watch. So, it's always pretty interesting to me, and it's always kind of like interesting to get a behind the scenes look. So this is where the scary things are. So I have to ask you guys, this film deals a lot with the supernatural and possession and demons and things of that nature. Have you guys ever experienced any supernatural phenomenon? I got to ask you both, so you guys can go ahead and decide who goes first on this one.
Oh, me first? Oh, that's a good question. I come from a very Italian family, so I've certainly heard a lot of things. That's probably the best answer I can give on that. I don't know. I don't, nothing that I couldn't just maybe chalk up to being like a weird dream or something that was a little out of the ordinary and things like that. But I think that was just a dream, those experiences I've had before. But I think everybody has had that feeling of something being strange and one time or another. We also all sort of felt weird in this house.
Okay.
So I think that's something. I mean, there's a little doll with its head off, and that's no spoiler to say in the basement of the movie. And that was really there. So there was a lot of jokes about that. That was there before we came in. That was not production design. So there's some strange things about that house, and we were never allowed on the 3rd floor. So maybe there was some stuff there. That could have also just been the stress of the movie, but I don't know. What would you say?
Yeah, no. I guess I had maybe one occurrence or whatever when I was a kid. My dad told me when I was about like 3-4 years old, went out to a party, and he left me with the house sitter. And when he came back, he found her crying on the stairs, screaming in Spanish or something. There's someone in Adam's room, and he runs up to go check on me when I'm sleeping, and he sees nothing. About 2 nights later, he goes and check on me. He sees a woman, or a little girl actually, just looking at me, just staring at me while I sleep, only to figure out that little girl drowned in the tub that I used to take a bath in. So
oh wow, that's wild.
That was crazy.
Wow.
I didn't know the extent of that one.
Yeah, so
That's scary.
That is creepy.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that's the only thing I'd say so far.
So far. No more, please. Yeah.
You guys mentioned the house, and I gotta honestly say the house weirded me out. I got that vibe. So that really translated across through the screen. The house, and it's a nice looking house. I mean, there's no reason to believe that it's gonna be creepy, really. And then you get in there, and you just get this ominous, horrible feeling of dread, just like something's wrong in this house. And I mean, I know it's a horror movie, so obviously something's going on, because it's obviously the premise of the movie. But I'll tell you what, you mentioned the doll with the head off. I was weird. I'm not, no spoilers here, I hope, but the mannequins weirded me out in the basement. I'm like, okay, I was like, okay, I'm done with this mannequin stuff. I don't know what's going on. But so definitely to our listeners out there, definitely you'll know what I'm talking about when you see this one, because you got to see it. It's really a creepy scene. But And my last question before I hand you over to one of my other hosts is we were kind of talking about this on Twitter for a second. I thought this would be kind of like a fun, different question to ask you guys. You guys mentioned, horror films and things of that nature. So growing up, I mean, we all have horror movie characters or, maybe even supporting characters in a horror movie that really freaked us out as kids. So my question to you is, what horror movie characters still freak you out? I mean, we get older and we're like, okay, it's not as scary anymore, but there's definitely some that really kind of stick with you even as adults.
Oh man, I got two like immediate answers for this.
Okay.
Okay, so I didn't grow up on horror, and it did scare the crap out of me when I was growing up. So because I never watched anything, and this is what I mean. Adam had to actually show me these things, and then I started to love it. So I happened to walk in on my sister and my father watching I Know What You Did Last Summer, and that like screwed me up like completely for like a week and a half. So forget that. And then also I was very frightened of the alien from Alien. And I still think that is like the xenomorph is like the scariest freaking thing, because I'll tell you something. Haunted house, I'll try to square up with the ghost or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to fight it. You put me in space with an alien like that, forget it. It's over. I'm just going to eject myself because I can't. First of all, space is scary enough. It's like for me, I don't know about Elon Musk and stuff, but I couldn't do it. But
space terrifies me. So I'm with you. The xenomorph, forget it. I'm screwed. Yeah. I'm done.
That's it. I'm over with that. And I've always been afraid of that. I think I will forever be. But we looked at that movie quite a bit, even during making this. What about that scares us? And we used that actually. I was more frightened than him of that. But go ahead. We'll say.
For me, I think The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Just seeing, this, massive figure that could, changes, on a whim, and it was scary, especially when they're all tied up and one of the guys is, starts morphing and you see his face and it looks really scary. I was always afraid of that scene when we got to that one, because that face just creeped me out. Other than that, I would say, I think when I was a kid, Michael Myers kind of freaked me out a bit, sure, but me too. I kind of was like, woohoo, I kind of
don't get him.
Yeah, I was a fan of his, but he was creepy. I mean, he didn't talk. He gave little emotion. You didn't see, anything. So he creeped me out when I was a kid. And of course, Alien. I mean, Alien. That'll creep anybody out when you first.
No one can hear you scream.
Yes, I was gonna say that. You took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah. But yeah, the Thing, I agree completely. The fact that it could just be anybody was just terrifying. You didn't know who to trust and what was going on, and this is something that was so terrifying to me as a kid, still even. But I mean, as a kid, even more so, because you're really having to trust so many people around you as a child. So you have to hopefully that people are what they appear to be. So that's a really terrifying thing to see as a child. So I definitely understand, and definitely Michael Myers for sure. I agree with you completely. Just the whole silence, just killer, doesn't want to stop, relentless, just no, terrifying. So great answers, guys. I had so much fun talking with you guys and enjoyed the movie. And I'm gonna hand you over to Chris the Creature Zisi.
Hey Adam, hey Jameson, how you guys doing?
Good. Hey Chris, how are you?
Good. Nobody's asked yet, and I don't think we can let this go by, but the demon, I read a little bit about him. He originally you figured you'd give somebody elevator shoes, and then you found some 6'6" guy. Can you talk about the guy who played the demon and how you got him?
Well, the demon design was very carefully crafted over the course of time, and Adam and I had like 1,000 conversations about that, and it really kept going back to like what would scare us, and then so we kept going simpler, and but the design itself is extremely detailed, and we thought that was important. It was nice for me as a director to be able to kind of hide those things, because I think as an audience you have a sense of that, having a story, and it does have a story to it. You guys will never know it. But yeah, with that, we couldn't find someone to do it, and it was not a great gig. Honestly, it wasn't. I mean, it was virtually no pay, and it was like have a bunch of smoke blown in your face, and you can't breathe, and you're up really high. So I mean, our friend Mike did it, and was tall, but yeah, we were able to get him. Someone brought out like platform shoes, like out of their car, and it was like, why did you have this? I guess you realized we needed it. I don't know. So we just, we made it look bigger than it was, and then we had those, and that helped. And yeah, I mean, the design of that was very carefully crafted over many, many, many months, and the costume designer did a great job.
Yeah, no, yeah, Hellraiser was a big influence on the demon,
Yeah.
I think, and also like Lovecraft's Yellow King, and just other
Things that we thought
yeah.
would just really scare us, and to try not to give it a sense of scale. We didn't ever want to show it full body. We didn't want you to feel like, the way I just said before, that you could square up with the thing. As soon as you felt that, we lost the audience. So we tried to really just suggest and
imagination,
and Mallory definitely lends a lot to that because of the way she describes the thing. So you have a lot more of a sense to imagine it yourself, and you don't really get it till much later on.
Yeah, I love the Mallory character. A number of years ago, I took an online course and got a certification to be a paranormal investigator. So she sort of reminds me of myself, and
there you go.
Why I probably shouldn't go out and do paranormal investigations. But Ken talked about Mallory just a little bit ago. There's another wonderful actress in this movie. I think her name's Mia Davis, who plays the teaching assistant to Wendy. Yeah, Nancy, I think, is her name.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you guys got the idea to add her in. She's not a family member. She comes in and she's kind of like us. We're the outsider. We don't know what's going on. We don't know the dynamics. And it's like putting us in the movie through Nancy's eyes. And I think if there's anybody we're cheering for, if only one person survives, and I won't give the ending, but let's just say one, we would want it to be Nancy. She did a wonderful job, and I think it was a terrific idea. Whose idea was that? And am I talking wisdom? And is that why you put her in, so we could be in the house too?
Yeah, no, I think as Jameson and I were, just going through all these movies and trying to figure out the characters, we figured out Jack's character and Mallory's character. We kind of realized that they were very similar to a group of characters from a film called Hocus Pocus, and we really liked that film. I especially liked it when I was growing up. It was Max, trying to go for the girl while his little sister is kind of egging them on.
Yeah.
But they kind of all get wrapped up into this, witchcraft and all that stuff. So we kind of use that as the relationship between those three characters. Jack was or Charlie's character was going at had a thing for Nancy. Mallory or James' character would kind of be the playful one, so we just kind of went with that.
Yeah, and after we had sort of designed it that way, we just were looking for actresses, and we didn't really know who our Jamie was yet, but Mia Davis walked in, and she has really not done that much work on screen, and she, like, from the second she came in, we're like, we're gonna hire this girl. She is like that charming all the time, and she's so funny, and she was so great, and she had just a great look to her as well, and there was something just like, I don't know, movie star
Very
quality
likable.
about her. She was so likable, easy to work with, and she was just really game for the movie, and we, as soon as we saw her, we said, that's Nancy, let's not even look anywhere else.
Yeah, well, nice job. It's kind of neat because in these horror movies, well, a lot of times you get to the horror because people do things they shouldn't do or screw up. And that's kind of what happened here. But, as far as screw ups go, we can all make it. And I think that makes it even scarier because I look at myself throughout the day and I probably screwed up 5 or 6 times. Fortunately, the demons haven't been released yet.
Good, yeah.
I'm going to pass it on to Omar. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Very happy to have you guys here. And my first question is a real quick one, and just kind of out of my own curiosity. Maybe I missed it, but when exactly is this movie kind of taking place? And I'll ask you kind of why I'm asking in a second. I just was kind of curious. It's not meaning not like now in the present, maybe a few years back, or
I think it's supposed to be sort of in the present.
Yeah.
You know, we were trying to sort of paint a vintage vibe, but I think that comes from our own stylistic, you know, our passions for things, you know, something from, you know, way back when. I think the house was enough to sort of bring that element in, you know, but everything is pretty modern, especially with the fact that Jamie's kind of like trying to become a YouTuber and things like that.
Yeah, that was the only, and what I was kind of meaning by that is kind of, I got that vintage vibe from you, basically a lot because of the way you shot the film. It just seemed like it was an older film, but it clearly wasn't too old, because exactly, you know, she has the camera there, she's filming, so that kind of threw me off. I'm like, are we going old or whatever, or was it just the style?
Yeah, well, yeah, actually, I think that's a good thing, and I'm glad that you got that from it. I think when he showed me John Carpenter, I think I would have had maybe more of a sense of trying to be stylistic, and I love what Sam Raimi does in his films. So, you know, the bottom line is they're really sort of different things. One of them's trying to hyper put you there and show you all these different angles on the action, and some of them are funny or they're fast paced. And then there's Carpenter's approach. And I definitely liked John Carpenter's approach because I felt there was something that was more like me in my directing approach to things. But I also really thought that the simplicity lent a lot more to, you know, creating the environment and allowing things to play out. And I really liked the way he moved his cameras around. So yeah, there was sort of there was sort of a more of a old studio vibe or old school vibe that we tried to go with, instead of trying to put things that were really like twisty cameras and things like that. That was something I wasn't interested in. I tried to always keep it, you know, grounded, and the way that they would have to approach it, you know, back in the day from the horror movies that we loved, you know, and that he showed me and then I started to love.
Yeah, I definitely can appreciate that like you said, that vintage vibe, because, and you did it consistently. It was like throughout the entire movie. It wasn't like you did it here, but we couldn't really pull it off here, and we're gonna do it here. You did it consistently, and you kind of do that mostly by the camera work, or like how do you kind of do that?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kurosawa's work and Seven Samurai and a lot of the different elements of those really classic directors. And I'm also hugely influenced by Hitchcock. So when he brought all these things to the table for me and then showed me John Carpenter, you know, Carpenter really stems from Hitchcock and those different styles and things that were really very simplistic. You know, the camera's not really tracking things as much as it's just staying there and allowing things to come in and come out. I remember there was one scene with the knife, which I won't give anything away, and my DP started tracking it. And I would never shout on set, but I was like, no, don't track it. And it was like a crazy thing. But to me, that was exactly the style we were going for, which is like, you know what, that's how these movies would have been shot. And that's the proper way to do them. And I think he instilled that in me, and the types of things that I really latched onto, you know, we tried to create it more through blocking. And that also allowed us to have, you know, to try to create patterns in the blocking. A lot of people brought up the triangle imagery. And I like that Kurosawa does that a lot in his films, where he allows things to play out in wides and people have a structure to them, but they don't look too overly blocked. So I tried to work a lot in triangles and having people move through the frame that way. And that connected everything for me, which was his showing me Carpenter, my understanding and my deep respect and admiration for Hitchcock, and then also, you know, trying to do blocking the way that Kurosawa would or aspire to, you know, and how he was able to, you know, build scenes that way dramatically.
Well, it definitely worked, and it definitely gives your film a way to stand out amongst, you know, so much of the other stuff that we see.
Thank you.
When you do something like that. The other thing I like to we always like to talk about the blood and guts in the movie and so forth. This one certainly has its moments towards the end, like you just mentioned. There's some stabbing, and one of the things that I notice a lot is there's a lot of brutality. Even though with the style you shot, you're really feeling what they're doing here. Maybe you don't want to give away any spoilers, but just talk about shooting those kind of scenes and bringing out that brutality and getting some blood in there and so forth.
Well, what's interesting is, you know, like we always go back to Halloween, and a fun fact and a really cool nerdy fact for you guys, if something maybe you picked up on or didn't, because Halloween was so instrumental in my understanding of the genre, and it was the one that he really, like, we connected completely on immediately. You know, we named the lead characters after the actors in Halloween. So they all actually had a name, Donald Pleasance and Jamie Lee Curtis, all those different things. So we really leaned into that, and I think it was really Dr. Loomis's character that like was, oh, that's what horror movies are. I totally get it. There's a guy that's going to warn you about something that's going to go wrong, and then it's going to go wrong. So that like 100% set the tone for like the kind of movie we wanted to make. And I think, I guess in the same way that Carpenter handles it in Halloween, I think we were trying to do something that was visceral, but to try to create it through imagery. You know what I mean? We never intentionally said, let's not make this bloody, or let's pull this back. I think we just tried to show it the best way we could. And sometimes, I think in a lot of ways, really, sometimes a little less is a lot more, and you want to kind of imagine how bad it is. And also, you're balancing a couple different production things as well, which is like, are we going to really light up this floor with blood? We can't even do that. So how are you going to shoot it, make it visceral? We want to make it bloody. Am I speaking to that the right way?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think we really looked at it and said, yeah, we want to make this like House of a Thousand Corpses or, Evil Dead, with all the brutality. It could have been there, but for me, I don't think it would have as much weight to it, really, because I don't think it was needed. I mean, the stuff that you do get, the gore you do get, is very impactful, and you could use your imagination with it. You get a little, little taste of it, but then you'll know it hurts.
Yeah,
it's gonna hurt. That's what it is, and you could probably just imagine that, and that's what we want to do. What we wanted to do with this movie is bring people back to using their imaginations instead of it just being, given to you all this time.
Yeah, and I think it definitely brings back one shot that we did. There's one with Mia Davis, which is actually in the trailer, where she essentially is forced to stab herself in the stomach. And what's funny about that shot is I didn't think that was going to be that effective on set. It did not look that way. But she had such conviction in the way she did it. And she let out this great scream.
Yeah,
that was like, whoa. And she, she's experienced, I guess, whatever she told us about. And so she was able to draw on that pain as an actress, but that was more effective than it should have been. I think. So sometimes you get lucky in that way, where you don't actually have to show that, but you could feel it. And I think so much comes from great acting too, Yeah,
and also just the practical effects. I mean, we didn't use any CGI for this.
There's no CGI at all. We actually approached the company about doing CGI in it. And then Adam just turned to me and said, let's just go completely 100% practical. And I was a little behind on that. And then I was like, you know what? That is the way to go. And I was like, 100%, let's just figure it out. There's a lot of in-camera tricks, and there's a lot of simple stuff like overlaying of images creates, cookies. We use the cookie in the lighting for those who maybe don't know the film term. There's a sequence from In the Mouth of Madness that he brought up where they finally show, really the things that are coming after Sam Neill's character. And like a week before I understood what he was talking about and like light bulb went off, he was like, I think we should just kind of pay attention to In the Mouth of Madness's lighting. I didn't know what that meant. So like a week later, I swear I woke up out of bed and said, oh my God, I know exactly what he's talking about. So we broke that down into how we can do it in this film. And without getting too much into spoiler territory, our big bad guy, has some of that lighting, and it really lent to it. So we got to thank John Carpenter for that and his incredible, his ability to create those things and then allow us to, as fans, to reverse engineer them and create those effects.
That's awesome, and practical is always the way to go. I know sometimes you got to do some other stuff, but if you can do practical, that's the way to go.
100% on board. Yeah. 100%.
And what I love about hearing your guys' story is kind of listening to how you're learning horror as you're making this movie, and that's awesome.
Yeah, 100% for me. I mean, I did not know a thing, and I think that's really a testament to him as a producer. I think that was really the genius of what he did is he took somebody who may have had dramatic skills with actors or, whatever else you want to say, and was able to say, well, what would you do with this genre? And I had made a thriller before, and I've made other thrillers and things like that, had some experience with suspense, but, it is a very big difference between thriller suspense and horror suspense. They're like way different things, and you can completely miss the mark on them. So, you got to give so much credit to this guy here. I mean, you wouldn't have a horror movie if it wasn't for him, called No Fear. So I really followed his direction in that. And, we just worked so hard on it was really learning horror movies for me. I mean, 100%. And that was actually healthy because in so many ways we had conversations that people who are horror fans might not have had, which is like, okay, what is being scared? What is it about? Right.
Yeah. No, even for me, it was like a lesson as well, because I got to see all those movies that I've watched hundreds of times with him and with his input and how he comes at it from a different standpoint. And especially, finally making a horror movie. Now I could watch those movies like Carpenter films, Barker films, and then say I could think a little bit more critical about it and just be a little bit more, think of the more technical stuff, and just see what their style was and how I would have felt being on those sets or whatever.
Yeah, Hellraiser is another good example. Like I
I
liked Hellraiser, and he showed me it was awesome, but it wasn't like my thing. But after making a horror movie, I swear I went back and watched Hellraiser, and I was like, these guys are freaking amazing. I'm like obsessed with this now, and I think you don't appreciate it until you know, like, oh, wait a second, that's how they had to do that. And you just get that vibe and that atmosphere from the movie suddenly, at least I did. And it's like, you know what? That is an extraordinary achievement in filmmaking, not unlike Evil Dead and not unlike Halloween and all the Carpenter great films as well.
Awesome. Well, all I can say is welcome to the horror community now that you're here.
Thank you.
And and I'm gonna throw it back to Ken to finish it off.
All right.
Yeah, I just got to reiterate, well done with the practical effects. We're huge fans of that. And I mean, I know some movies you have to do the special effects and stuff like that. If you pull it off right, it works. But well done. You guys aren't done yet. So we have our own fun here on our show. And you guys know fear, but we're going to put you through the Deathly 13 Trivia Challenge. Now, we have 13 random questions. I don't know what the answers are. Chris and Omar, they don't know what the answers are. Only Muse knows the answer. She's going to control your fate right now.
Oh,
so,
man,
so you get 3 lifelines, though, okay? Well, more than 3 lifelines. You can ask any one of us at any time if we know the answer. We may not. We may. I don't know. You can ask for multiple choice, or you can ask to postpone the question maybe to the end. So, Muse, go ahead and do your damage.
All right. Do you guys have any questions before we get started?
Okay, so we get 3 times that we could possibly ask for multiple choice, a help from someone else, right? Am I getting this right? And
you
then
get 1 time to ask for multiple choice, 1 time for postponing the question. Maybe you want to think about it, and then you can ask each of us 1 time. Like you ask me once, and I'm done. And then you have HorrO.
Okay.
So you have 3 of us. So that's like 5 lifelines.
Okay, that's like more chances.
And the last question is worth 2 points. So you could go 14 for 13. It's been done
good.
before.
Let's see if we can do it.
Here we go.
All right. We're just going to jump right in. Question 1. What X-Men actor played the vampire killer in Van Helsing from 2004?
Oh, let's go, baby. I know it.
What actor? Yeah.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. All right.
Feel good. I don't know. Let's see.
I like that movie.
That was an awesome movie, actually.
Yes, definitely. I know Chris loves it. I was like, if you don't know this one, I know exactly who's going to know the answer to this one. All right. Question 2. Who wrote the book Watchers from 1987, which spawned 3 films loosely based on the novel?
Ooh.
Horror novelist. So,
Okay.
of course, because
That kind of sounds like the obvious answer.
I would say Stephen King.
is that your final answer?
Pick Chris.
We can do a
Pick Chris. I thought it was Stephen King too. Shit.
Let's do Chris, lifeline.
Is it Dean Koontz?
Yes, it is.
All
Dean
right.
Koontz.
Okay, good.
All right.
Thank you, Chris.
Like I didn't say final answer.
Saved us in there. Okay, we got to remember those lifelines.
All right. Question 3. Okay, speaking of Stephen King, who directed the film adaptation of the Stephen King novel, The Dead Zone from 1980?
Oh my God. Wait a second.
Come on, we talked about him.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I don't know if you're thinking the same. I'm thinking, Ken.
Oh my God, it's such a, oh my God. I just saw the name too, and I'm just trying to think right now. It's not, I don't think it's not like an A-level person. That's the only way I can think about these things. It's like somebody who's, oh man.
Think body horror. The king of body horror.
Oh, wait, no, okay, wait. Not Cronenberg. No.
Yes.
It is. Okay, all right, great. Oh, okay, don't worry, I got you.
Always go with your first instinct.
Okay, boom.
Cronenberg. All right. It is David Cronenberg. All right.
I mean, he is A-level. Let's be clear, okay?
Yes,
Just in a different way, okay? That's
A-level,
the
yeah.
best way I
God
could
War
say
King,
that.
for sure.
All right. Okay.
For sure. Okay, question 4. In the movie Hollow Man from the year 2000, who plays the invisible scientist who goes pretty berserk? This one.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Super disturbing movie too.
Kevin.
Oh my lord.
We're only 1 degree from him. Wait, no, maybe 1, 2?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Boom.
All right, question 5. What is the name of the puppet who gives instructions to the Jigsaw killer's victims in the Saw films?
Name of the puppet?
Oh, yeah, because
yeah.
it's... Oh, what, do you?
No.
Yeah, the little puppet that ride around on it.
Oh.
Oh.
That thing.
Oh, what was his name?
What's the name given to it?
He's riding around on a bike.
Yep, that damn tricycle.
Ooh, that's a good question. I wouldn't know this. This is like...
Remember, she can give you multiple choice, or you can ask me or HorrO.
Would you know?
Yeah, Ken, I'm going to give you this one.
HorrO's raising his hand on that one.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like, no, not me.
Let's take him. Let's
Oh,
take
let's
him.
take him, let's take him.
I have it on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it though.
It's Billy.
It is Billy.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
I didn't know it. I didn't know it. Good.
Go, bro.
Thank God for him, because we would not have gotten that one.
All right, sticking with characters in very memorable movies. For question 6.
6.
What is the name of the rabbit-suited figure from Donnie's Visions in Donnie Darko?
Oh,
We had him on the show.
I know it.
Ken's up there.
I know. I
Let's
know.
get him. Ken.
Frank the bunny.
Yes, it's Frank the
Nice.
Bunny.
Thank you, Ken. Okay.
All right.
I used to have the a costume. I wore it a couple years
So
ago.
he's got the costume and everything, baby. Let's go.
All right, question 7. Before hanging with a party of 5, Nev Campbell starred with 3 other teens that formed a high school coven in which 1996
The
film?
Craft.
The Craft. All
Nice.
right.
That was a cool movie.
Boom.
Yes, love that movie.
Yeah.
Great movie. Okay, so the next question is true or false. So you got a 50-50 chance here. True or false? Bela Lugosi never wore fangs while portraying Dracula.
Oh my God.
Ask for multiple choice.
I like to see that one. Ooh. Oh no.
I'm going to say... Oh, yeah. Say true.
First instinct.
Okay, can you ask it again without me using a lifeline? I just want to hear the word.
I can repeat the question. Absolutely. Okay, so true or false? Bela Lugosi never wore fangs while portraying Dracula.
Is it true? Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to say true.
We're going to say true.
Say true
It
on
is
that.
true.
Oh, good. All right.
It is
good.
true.
All right.
I thought- I
I
felt
didn't use
right.
that answer already.
We
so-
felt right about it. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, at first instinct, always go with that first instinct. Okay, so this is an interesting little tidbit here. And the next question for question 9, which Brat Pack actress revealed in her 2019 autobiography that she had been the model on the titillating poster for the iconic revenge film I Spit on Your Grave from 1978?
Wow.
Wow,
I actually
that
know
is-
somebody
that
wrote an
is
article for
intense
this.
question.
I just saw it recently too, and I don't remember what it was.
I know Chris knows it, I think.
Chris probably took the picture.
I'll only see if I can give you a hint.
Well, they still have the multiple choice too.
Oh
Can
yeah,
you say
that's
that
true. Yeah,
question-
they do.
Can
That's
you
true.
say that question again?
All right. Which Brat Pack actress revealed in her 2019 autobiography that she had been the model on the titillating poster for the iconic revenge film I Spit on Your Grave from 1978?
Ooh, that's gonna be tough. I don't know about that one. We might need a multiple choice on that one. I don't even know if I'd get it then.
Yeah.
Wait, we have no more of these
No
guys,
more.
right?
No, we were all used up.
Oh boy. And then what's my other lifeline? I got a multiple choice.
You can postpone it if you want to think about it.
We can postpone it.
Yeah, you want to postpone?
Let's postpone that one.
Postpone.
Not that
Okay.
we'll have it later.
No.
Okay. All right. For question 10, I'm going to give you a horror movie synopsis, and I'm going to ask you to tell me which horror movie I'm speaking of.
Okay.
In what film? Well, it's kind of a synopsis. In what film remake did Robert De Niro play ex-con Max Cady, who is killed during a fight off the North Carolina coast?
Cape Fear.
Cape
Nice.
Fear, yeah.
Yep, we knew that one as you were asking it. You said Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro. Yeah, all right.
Great
Say
movie.
that low again. Yeah.
Okay, question 11. I love this question. I don't know if we're gonna see how well you know zombie movies. Okay, question 11. What is the name of the medical supply store where contaminated zombie corpses were stored in The Return of the Living Dead from 1985?
Oh man, do you know this? He was like just sort of getting me into this
Yeah.
medical supply store from Return of the Living Dead. Let's see. Okay, this is not my question. I'll tell you that.
You still have multiple choice.
Give him a little hint.
Oh my
'Cause I think they're gonna have to use their multiple choice on the other one, on the 9.
Oh man, I was not ready for a hint on this one. It's a really, I'm not really gonna be much help here.
You see the answer, right? Just mix the words up.
That's right, and we like that.
You guys are gonna like understand why I am kind of like struggling. Is I don't really even know what to say here. It's like a really funny name for a medical supply. It's really silly and it's one word, but it shouldn't be. There should be spaces in between it. That's all I really got. I don't even know how I would even give a hint here. I was hoping they would use multiple choice here.
I get real spotty on the old zombie movies there, guys. I don't know. I that wasn't my forte. It's more his, I think, but I don't think I got that one at all. I mean,
okay, let's put it this way. If you do multiple choice, I can give you a really good hint on the other Brat Pack question that you guys go back to.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, we'll do multiple choice then.
All right. Is it you need a medical supply, you want a medical supply, or you got to have a medical supply? That's what I'm saying.
Oh no!
I was like, I don't even know what to say for this one.
Can you say those options again?
All right. And remember, it's one word, no spaces. Is it you need a medical supply? You want a medical supply? I can't even get through this without laughing. You want a medical supply, or you got to have a medical supply? This is the whole.
I'm dying here.
Because I'm just like, I didn't know.
I don't even know it. I don't even know it, but I know which one I want to guess.
What's the first option again?
You need a medical supply.
You need a medical supply.
Yeah.
Final answer?
I feel good about that.
Yeah, we feel good about the first one.
You are right.
Oh, way to dig deep.
It makes sense.
That did not help, by the way.
Like,
that out there.
Oh man, I was like, I didn't even know what to say for a clue. I was like, I don't even know where to go here.
Yeah, that's like my spotty place on horror movies right now. He was just saying like, let's get into zombie movies. I was just watching one, but definitely not that.
Well, you guys definitely. You guys got to watch that one. You guys pulled it out, so that's you pulled out. So that's awesome.
There you go. He felt better about that than I did.
Right. I was hoping once you heard the multiple choice, it would jog maybe a memory or something. I'm thinking, oh no.
Question 12, Muse. Question 12.
Question 12. In the movie Cat People from 1982, what type of feline did Natasha Kinski's character turn into in the film?
Panther, black.
I thought that too, and it's misleading.
Ooh.
Is it one that looks like a?
Think spots.
Yeah. Okay. So it's.
Cheetah.
Ooh.
Yeah, they kind of.
Oh, it's a remake though, so.
It kind of looks like a cheetah, right? But not.
It's not a. Yes, exactly.
Right. Okay, but not a cheetah.
Not a cheetah.
Leopard. No.
Yes.
Yes.
That. We'll say that.
Yeah.
All right. It is leopard.
Okay.
All right. Before they go to 13, go back to 9.
All right. So question 9. So we're back to the Brat Pack question. So we're trying to figure out which Brat Pack actress revealed in her 2019 autobiography that she had been the model on the titillating poster for the iconic revenge film I Spit on Your Grave from 1978. So my hint is she received a very indecent proposal at one point in her career.
Oh, wow. I just got
and
it.
Ken's like, huh? Robert Redford, Woody Harrelson. She plays his wife.
Ghost.
Ghost. Yeah,
Ghost.
yeah. Another great film she was in. Yep.
Wait, Ghost?
Yeah. She
Oh,
did.
that's
Wait, work it out.
She
Oh, Demi Moore.
yeah.
Yes. Lord.
It's gracious. Good for you.
Wow. I can't believe that's her.
Swayze, but
Right. Well, my
Demi
mind was
Moore.
blown.
Oh.
That's pretty cool.
You got that one.
All right. Last question's worth 2 points. Right now you haven't missed one yet, so you can go 14 for 13. No pressure.
Okay, I was hoping that Ken was going to be available for this last question because he's really familiar with this one. Who played the Grand High Witch in the movie The Witches from 1990?
Oh, nice.
Oh, Angelica Houston.
Angelica Houston, yeah.
That was an easy one, kids. I'll say that
love
one
that
because
All right.
one. Forget it. That was
hoping.
before our time. I
You
don't
never know. Listen, Jameson, Adam, you guys killed it, man. You guys went 14 for 13. It's only been done so many times on our show. Well done. You guys are a lot of fun. Listen, we want to give you guys the opportunity to discuss where we can watch the film. I know it just came out, and also where we can find you guys on social media. And what's in the pipeline? What can we look forward to next?
Yeah, so we are working on a horror anthology film that we're very excited about. It's called How Dark They Prey, Prey being Prey, which is another fun word game brought to you by Mr. Ambrosio right here. So we're working very hard on that. One of them is a World War II horror, and then something's a little Lovecraftian in it, and an interesting slasher, black and white, and then also another alien sort of investigation, found footage type deal. So it's a great group of movies. We're very excited about it. It's been casted. You can check out No Fear right now on Prime Video. It is actually free, big word free, with your subscription. So you don't have to pay anything to enjoy and watch, our years of hard work. And we're very excited about that because it's getting to a bigger audience. You could also see it on Kings of Horror, Watch Movies Now, and that's also just streaming. You can just watch it. And
YouTube,
also Tubi. So yeah, you can see it on all those things. If you don't mind sitting through a few ads, that's also a great way to go. And if you want to check us out, for years we've been YouTubers, and we have about 3,000 followers, people that stay with us on YouTube. We're called Film Valor. Very easy to remember. We do a lot of very fun stuff on there, like how to make a $30 space battle that looks like Star Wars, and all sorts of crazy stuff like that.
Excellent. That's awesome that it's on Prime. So listen, listeners, if you guys watch it on Prime, make sure to leave a really nice review. And if you don't, if you don't, you can go fuck yourself. That's it.
Oh, there you go. All right, Ken.
Oh yes.
You
I
said
got
it. We didn't have.
Yeah, we got to support the indie films here, man. Listen, you guys, thank you so much. You guys were a riot. Had a great job on the Deathly 13. We'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much. All right, happy to be on anytime. We love talking movies.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Keep it scary.